Thank you.
Well, good evening, viewers. This is N.K. Sinha at the behest of Little Wings Holistic Childhood Center. Before we start today's session, it's very imperative on my part to speak it out to you that Little Wings Holistic Childhood Center has been making all efforts to ensure that teaching, learning, pedagogy, and the support system to nurture a child on the campus are based on the global prospects of teaching, learning, pedagogy. And this is one of the reasons why we have been connecting ourselves enthusiastically with the educators throughout the world. In the last week, you have seen that we have had a lot more of insights to run this show. And for that, a lot more of support from your end is a matter of pride for all of us. Dear parents, dear viewers, in the process of ensuring that children are exposed as such that when they go outside India, they turn out to become a global citizen. Because exposure is the only media and only means through which we can strengthen the values of our children. But unless and until we exchange the ideas or create an atmosphere, probably the task would be still Herculean. So today with us, we have got somebody who is from Sydney, Australia. Namrata Chevli. You are welcome, Namrata, on this platform today.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Perfectly all right, and thank you so much. Namrata Chevli has decided to come on this platform to discuss many things regarding the daycare centers being run at Sydney in Australia. Namrata is a room leader and she has been certified by ACECQA. Now, it's a big acronym which I wanted to share it with you, dear viewers. Australian Children Education and Care Quality Authority. Unless and until this authority, this board, certifies a teacher in Australia, the facilitator cannot take up the responsibility of the children. So the first thing, congratulations, Namrata, to get certified by ACECQA.
Thank you.
Another aspect that's more important is there that all the daycare centers in Australia, they follow one or the other system of education, whether it is Montessori or whether it is Reggio Emilia based daycare, or it can be Piaget's theories or theory of Harvard gardeners of multiple intelligences. Somehow or the other, we find that these Herculean people have contributed a lot in making things beautiful. For your information, Little Wings Holistic Childhood Center has its own curriculum. Of course, it is based on multifarious recommendations coming from throughout the world. And it is based on the research that was done way back in 2014. Now we are in a position where we have a lot more of support system of all the parents. We are in a position where we can always take pride in telling that any child associated with Little Wings Holistic Childhood Center would be nurtured precisely to turn out to become a valuable citizen of this country. But now, without wasting any time, let us straight away come to Namrata. Namrata, once again, welcome on this platform. And I believe the temperature is very low there in Australia.
Yeah, it's just the onset of spring, so it's a bit cold now.
Right, that's wonderful. Well, Namrata, you are associated with a daycare which is based on Reggio Emilia.
Yes.
First of all, I would like to know something about it. I mean, what is this center and how is it being, run? How does this daycare function in Australia? So throw some light on. Yeah.
Okay. So daycares they are called long daycares here, and they are open from morning 6:30 to 6:30 in the evening, so up to 12 hours. And parents, because they are working, nobody's to look after the children. They drop their children there, So we have to provide them with education, sleep, food, play, and all the developmental appropriate activities. So that's how we take care of the children. And there is a curriculum, we frame it. So believe going with the philosophy, we develop the curriculum on fortnightly or weekly basis, which helps us to know children's interest. So children interest is the base of all the programming, and that's how we keep the children involved in the routine activities. And we provide them with nutritious food, so they are healthy. And indoor and outdoor play activities both are planned for them every day. So we have multiple activities, some are spontaneous depending on their interest. So that way their routine is scheduled. And children under 3 years of age, they are provided with sleep times so they can rest in the day. And even if the child is 3+, they can rest in the center.
So
So we
that's
have the
their
sleep.
sleep rights,
Yeah.
rather, right? So they
Yes.
are rightful to have some sleep on the
Yeah, they
center.
have the right to sleep, play, eat, everything. And
So
we do it
all
like, yeah, we do everything whatever they want. So whatever is the child's right, they are given the due importance, and we do respect it all. Yes.
That's wonderful. Namrata, I came to know that there is a framework in your country for daycare, especially. I mean,
Yes.
probably it is NQF, right?
Yes.
So, what is this NQF? I think on the basis of NQF only you derive out your curriculum.
Yes, there is an NQF, that is National Quality Framework, which helps in assessing the programming, what we are doing. So there are two parts to it. There is National Quality Standards. So there are 7 standards which help in catering to various areas of development as well as for the service center. So these National Quality Standards are including the National Quality Framework, which emphasizes on the practice, philosophy, curriculum, and all of it. And there is a pedagogical, there are 5 pedagogical principles to it, which is collaborative. So we need a collaboration when we are building the curriculum for the children. There is interrogating. We keep questioning the children. What are they interested? What do they want? What do they like? So that way there is an interrogation. And then there is lots of contribution in terms of construction, like we construct the curriculum as per the need of children. So there is no pre-decided anything. Everything
Okay.
is built according to their interest. So they feel motivated in the learning process and not burdened with the learning process. That is the main reason that NQF is focusing on. And the
Mm,
principal helps to reach the various areas, that what are the safety practices, what are the children's and family input. So like for safety practices, we even do fire evacuation, stranger danger mock drills. So it is quarterly done for the children, so we practice it throughout a week in each quarter. So that way children are aware that they are supposed to call 000 in case of any emergency, what they need to do, what is the safe point. So these all things are being part of the quality area too, which is safety. So all this is implemented through National Quality Framework, and that's how we can reach their needs.
So it has made me to understand, dear viewers, that there are always the key learning areas, KLAs,
Yes.
which are focused under the national quality framework, which
Yes.
being given to the teachers there
Hmm.
to come out with their own devised curriculum to be utilized. And the
Yes.
best part that Namrata just now has shared with us is that teachers are allowed to, first of all, see the interest of the children. This is exactly where the curriculum turns out to become customized for every child, rather, as per the interest, the curriculum is being devised. And then the children are given the responsibilities of learning and allowed to learn all these things in a interesting manner according to their own choices. That's the most wonderful thing. Probably this is not practiced in India most of the time, but yes, let me tell you that at Little Wings Holistic Childhood Center, this is one of the factors. And I'm really happy to share it with the parents today that whatever is being practiced on the global platform that you are getting on the campus of Little Wings Holistic Childhood Center. That's wonderful. Namrata, and it is really very heartwarming for me to know about NQF. Let me tell you and share with you, since it's a platform where we can share the educational policies and the systems of one another, I mean, one country and the other country. We have got NCF, National Curriculum Framework, which was devised way back in 2005 in India, and then ultimately it was revised in 2009 and came up with 2013 itself. So what happened that NCF, but then it was there for the mainstream. It was never planned out for the daycare. So I'm really surprised also. I'm very happy to see, probably that's a learning for all of us, that the practice that's being done in the daycare of Australia is going to help us in ensuring more safety for the children on the campus. And it's also going to help us in understanding the parents' aspirations for their growth. Right?
There is one more thing. For the basis of curriculum, when a child is playing, we have to observe the child with a distance and sometimes only interrogative them. So if I see that two children are making a cake in the sandpit, that is the most common thing. They go in the sandpit, they make a cake, they make a castle, they do all these things. So okay, if I have seen that a child is playing and making cake in the sandpit, maybe that shows his interest in cooking. So maybe I will write as a follow-up. Every activity needs to have a follow-up. So I will write a follow-up wherein we will actually bake a cake in the center.
Oh, great.
So he can relate, that the child can relate to what he was playing the other day.
Oh.
So whatever is their interest, we have to observe them. That, okay, this child is all the time playing with these puzzles. So I have to look for a complicated, more complex puzzle for him to increase his developmental level. So that way their interests are being carried forward.
Another feather in the cap of learning of a children, rather, because whenever the child's interest is being organized and it's being observed by the teacher or the facilitator decides to conduct similar such activities as a reinforcement, so that the child connects the real life situation with that of something being given as a learning paradigm to him. Oh, that's wonderful. I hope in India, very less probably the holistic centers are there, or the preschools are there, where such concepts are literally imbibed. And we are thankful to you, Namrata, for giving us this insight. And rather, through this platform, I would like to disseminate this and make other people realize that, well, if you are doing something for the growth of a child, please ensure that your observation is a prime object.
Yes, it is.
Identification of the quality of a child is a prime object. And based on these two things, only when you plan out any curriculum, that becomes fruitful. That comes out in flying colors.
Yes.
That's very nice. Well, it's really very insightful talking to you today, Namrata, and being at a distance.
Glad as well.
Doing it then, yes.
Thank you.
Well, another question that comes to my mind is there even more effective. What are those parameters for the daycare, for the teachers especially and the caregivers in Australia? There are certain parameters, right, which have been fixed, which probably in India, we fix it according to our choices. But then what are those parameters that you really have to follow? Every teacher has to be there under that. Yes.
Okay. So as you mentioned before, the ASEQA, ACECQA, that is ASEQA. ASEQA is the main heading organization. We need to have a degree approved from them, or else I have to have an Australian certified degree by studying here. So there are two ways to get your degree. So that is must. Then we need to have working with children check. So that is a sort of a license what we generally develop, that, okay, I am licensed to work with children, to touch children, to hold children. So they will do basically a background check that I don't have any offense related to children or anything. Then only I get that working with children check number. So that is mandatory for everyone who deals with children, not only the teachers, but anybody who deals with children. Then as we work independently in the child care, there are not any nurses or cleaners or anybody helpers. So we have to have certain certification. Like it's compulsory for us to have a first aid and CPR training yearly, because if any child gets sick or anybody gets an attack of asthma or anaphylaxis, we should know what we have to do in those circumstances. We just can't panic, because I know in India most schools have nurses and infirmary wherein children are rushed to, but here we have to give the first aid. So all the teachers need to have a valid certification in that regard, so we can save the life of the child. So that is very, very important. And then apart from that, child protection are under other certificates, which are also mandatory. So we know the legalities, as I mentioned. In case of any child abuse, we have to do a reporting. There is a mandatory reporting. So all the staff should be aware. It's not only one staff's responsibility or the supervisor. No, it's each and every person's responsibility for the safety of the child. So that's how they make the educators very well aware of their responsibilities. When parents leave their children to us, we have to really look after that child as our own. So these are the basic things which we need to do. Then apart from that, when we are working with children in the daycares, there is a ratio system here. Like if there are children who are under 2 years of age, so only one staff can look after babies. So that is 1:4 ratio. For toddlers means 2 to 3 year old. So 5 toddlers to one staff. And for big children, 8 to 10, it's allowed. And that ratio at any point of time has to be maintained. You can't breach that regulation. If you breach it, it's a big, big regulation. You can't break it. So this is very important. These all are decided considering the safety and handling of the children. So that is very important here. Then when we start working, we need to read all the policies and procedures of the centers. Every center has policy and procedures. So we have to read it and sign it that we are aware. Like for example, we have Sun Smart policy. So before children go for an outdoor play, 10 minutes before they have to apply the sunscreen. So that I have signed the document means I should know that children have done the right thing. So that way we have like lots of policies. It takes a while to learn, like read it, but yes, it is important for them. So that's what we do. So these are all the basic important things which is really important to
So
do.
that's so nice to know that there have been some parameters set for the daycare caregivers, the teachers, and they have to undergo a lot more of rigorous learning, the training
Yes.
in order to take up the responsibilities. And that's what probably is the dire need for the safety and security of every small
Yes.
child mother. True. And I think this is also a very sensitive issue at our centers. We are very careful about it, that all our teachers are trained in such a way that they take up the responsibilities and ensure that every child is safe and secured at the helm of the affairs. That is normally going on. Well, but the how, children are always sensitive, and it is believed that children are the soft targets of everything. In this
Yes.
COVID-19 situation, we must have seen that children have been adversely affected, although directly they were quite safe from COVID-19. Till now,
Yes.
I think we pray to God and touch wood that no child should be affected with COVID-19. But at the same time, they have been indirectly, adversely affected. Their
Yes.
mental, their social setbacks can be seen. They are
True.
emotionally broken. Their physical fitness has been challenged rather by this COVID-19. Okay.
Behavioral issues.
Yeah. So these are the things which have cropped up because of this, scenario. But I know that your children are also sensitive there at your center. And then how do you treat them at your center? What all facilities are there which are provided to them in the daycare in Australia?
In terms of security,
No, in terms of the treatment of your children, what all do you give them? What all facilities do you give them? How do you take them for the learning? These are the processes that you basically adopt in enhancing their qualities or making them a little, equipped with the knowledge also. What all activities do you
Okay,
do?
so that's what in the beginning, as I mentioned, that
Yes.
we have the curriculum according to their interest. So this
Mm.
is done by the room leader and the supervisor. But yes, we have the all the staff input. So when we are doing the portfolio, individual portfolio of the children, so the teacher is well aware, okay, the child A is very much interested in this, he needs to work in this area. So that way there is an input from the teacher. We seek input from the parents that, okay, can you please tell us what interests your child? What does he do at home? What does you want him to learn from us? So that way there is a parent input, there is a staff input, and then every day we make a daily journal. Like it's a brief description for the whole day activities we do with the children. We send it to the parents. So everything has a follow-up that, okay, this activity was done. As I mentioned, child was playing in the sandpit, the follow-up is making a cake. So that goes in the curriculum. So every part of the curriculum is linked from where it has come. It doesn't come abruptly. So anything which we have to introduce to the child, it is called intentional teaching. That why
Oh,
I'm having an intentional teaching, because we are focusing on alphabets. We are focusing on the safety issue. So that is an intentional teaching. So that way the curriculum is a big input from various sources. And then we have other celebrations to be done considering the diverse community we have here. So we give respect to all the cultures, and we have all those things in a part of our curriculum. That way we develop the whole curriculum with the interest. And there is one more good thing here. We do write critical reflection on a weekly basis, and it's not compulsory. We can write twice also. The critical reflection means what are the issue you are facing in the center, whether it's with one child, with a group of children, with the parents, with the staff. So as we have to identify what is the issue. Okay, the children are not sleeping well in the afternoon, so that's an issue. So what can be the strategies? What can be the issues that are affecting children's sleep patterns? So we have to identify, sit together and identify the strategies. Maybe we should have a better sleep music. Maybe the room should be a bit darker. Maybe the temperature needs to be maintained well. So that way we have to identify the strategies and we implement it. So this is a critical reflection also helps us on a regular basis. We can improve ourselves. It's not that at the end of the year we thought, oh, whole year children did not sleep well. No, regularly we are improving ourselves, and it really works well.
another beautiful, insight that you have shared on this platform today, that parents' participation is a very important aspect. As you said that you take the, insights of the parents also. You
Yes.
take the details of the parents about the child. Every
Mhm.
parent does speak out what really the child is interested to do, what really the child likes to have, or anything that you do. And when you say it is an intentional teaching learning process, that means you are collecting the information from different resources about a child,
Yes.
and then you fix up your intentions on the basis of that collection, that you should engage the child with a particular activity in the classroom, right?
Like, for example, Reggio Emilia is a theory based on using natural resources. So now, as it is the spring season, so what we will do, intentional teaching is doing an art activity with the leaves. So we will ask children to collect leaves, dip it in the paint and do painting, or maybe stick and make a collage of it. So that is an intentional teaching, but at the same time, we are talking about the season, the changes in the season. So that way we link it. But yes,
Okay.
intentional teaching also has to have some link to the ideas.
So as a daycare room leader, I mean, do you think that connectivity with nature is very important for the children?
Yes, of course.
So how frequent you are there taking your children to the nature, in the lap of nature, and they are promoted or they are encouraged to be a part and parcel of nature mother? Yes.
See, we have always in the daycare, there is a section, like a display section where we put the natural resources. Like we have different types of rocks collected, the pines, the sticks, and all those natural resources from wherever we have gone or we collect it. We display it. And even if a child has gone to some place, if child has traveled overseas or anywhere and he found some shells, very interesting shapes, the child brings and keep it there, so that way everybody can see those natural resources. Secondly, we have the garden, a veggie garden, the backyard of our centers. So children choose what they want to grow there in the veggie patch. They water, they take care of the plants, they grow, they nurture. So they understand the process. They know how important is water, sunlight for the plants. And regularly they're taking care. So they are a part of the nature. And when they are playing in the backyard, they can see with the changes of the season, the leaves color change, the trees look different. So all those changes they are able to see. Yes, sometimes we have to get them attracted to it. Okay, oh, where are the leaves on the tree gone? Oh, the tree is so full of green leaves. So like that we have to divert, and then they start observing it. Oh, there is some change in the season. So that is how we are doing it. And then we have other sustainability practices which are too much emphasized, that we have to save water, save electricity. So that way, we have normal practices like children, they wash their hands instead of wiping with the paper, they use the hand dryer. They don't use paper, they don't use any towel because it's unhygienic. So that way we are trying to save the paper which comes from the tree. So these are some of the basic practices which are being done. And even we have a compost bin wherein whatever is the scrap food, like the unused food, we put it there and gradually it turns into a compost. And then it goes in the garden for children to see that that is a food for the plants. So they are aware of these things, that we are recycling the things.
Okay, so sustainable practices and the theory of reusing, recycling,
Yes.
probably children at the daycare also start learning from that
Yes.
very, very small age rather. And
Yes. Yes.
finally, I'm sure that with all these focused teaching learning process in Australia at Sydney, children must be learning a lot to become a valuable citizen. And that's the most important thing, because we at the helm of the affairs of education are here to ensure that every child becomes valuable, important, and every child learns all those things which are required to protect the lives on this earth, the connections with the nature, the learning of sustainable practices, and a lot more that you have been sharing today. I think all these have become an insight for the learning of the viewers, of the people who are watching us today on this. Last but not the least, rather, one question that comes to my mind is there, which is even more important. Uh, what about the imbibing quality of the children in terms of the values of life? How do you think that they learn the values?
The values of the life, first and foremost is a positive reinforcement is always needed for the children. We have to always speak to the child in a positive way, not raising voice as you like, which is really obvious. So a positive attitude towards children will help them to develop the same. Children believe that whatever they see, they learn. So we are the role models for them. So we have to approach, we have to be very good and soft spoken to them, go to their level and interact in a positive manner. This way we try to help develop a appropriate way of talking. Then we do lots of book reading and appreciate the good behavior. We give rewards for the good behavior. If a child has helped somebody, so we give a small token, a sticker. So as a point of appreciation, that motivates the other child that yes, even I want that thing. So these are the things which will appreciating, rewarding, will gradually make them inculcate those values within their behavior. And that will become a part of them soon.
Right. So I mean to say here to the viewers that positive reinforcement is one of the major factors in order to help the child to imbibe values of life. Because the more positively at any time of your life, basically, in any circumstance, in any condition, if you really reinforce the things positively, children would learn to respond to it in a very, very positive manner. And that is how we groom our children to turn out to become valuable. Well, Namrata, for half an hour, we have been discussing today, and I'm very happy that all the insights that you have shared today on this platform are going to help my viewers, my parents a lot. All the teachers who are watching us probably would be learning a lot more of things out of your devised curriculum. And I'm also happy that you are associated with Little Wings Holistic Childhood Center, and your curriculum and your devised advices would certainly be taken into account for further progress of this institute. Thank you so much, viewers, for watching us today. Next Saturday, again, we are coming up with a very vast discussion on the implementation of National Education Policy 2020, the nuances of NEP, and at the same time, we also are going to talk something about how effectively the changing paradigm is likely to be taken care of by all the schools throughout the country. But with this, we bid you good night, goodbye. We shall meet again on the next Saturday. Thank you so much, Namrata, for being with us.
Have a good day. Thank
Thank
you. Good night.